Hi everyone, it's me, Darlene. It is a Thursday night and I have no desire to do any kind of a video because of two reasons. One, my anxiety is through the roof, and two, I also am suffering from allergies big time. So I just took one of my precious Zyrtecs, which I keep, it's like for emergency only, and today was an emergency. I mean, just my whole head is congested and my eyes don't stop watering and itching, and the allergies are just killing me. So I thought, like I had mentioned earlier in my update, that maybe I would look at some of these comments with you that I got on my drinking video. And instead of just, me trying to type answers to everyone, I can just go through and like your comment to let you know that I read it, even if I don't read it on camera. And a lot of them are just like, nice statements. I just really want to go through and see if there are questions that I might be able to answer, because it will just be easier to answer an actual question on camera than to type in an answer. Instead of just rambling like I know I'm doing, let's just look at questions or the comments. First of all, the views are very delayed. I know I have actually almost 800 views on that video so far, which is awesome, I guess. But YouTube is only showing publicly 564 views at the time. So like I was mentioning before in a previous YouTube tip video, sometimes that's delayed. So I don't know why it does that, but it does that. So far, right now, I see 70 comments. Like I said, I'm just going to kind of read these, and if it's not really a question, I'm just going to click the little like button so you know that I did read it. This one, it says, my mom used to be a drunk, and it kills me that my son had a mother who was an alcoholic, an actively drinking alcoholic, and, of course, it never dawned on me what that would be doing to him. It's, drunks are selfish, I did what I needed to do for myself, but I do have a nice relationship with my son, and he also has a drinking problem. So I think he's been sober now almost 2 years, which is awesome. I'm very, very happy for him. Tigger was quite popular, apparently, and it's funny because I kind of forgot that he was on the bed behind me, and it was cute to see him rolling around and cleaning himself, and I'm so brave. I haven't looked at these comments. Tigger, someone says all they can hear is pain and sadness, and well, it's hard for me to explain the feelings I have, because when you suffer from depression, a lot of it is just like no feelings. I think, if anything, I'm more angry than anything else. This person, pick up a Bible, we all need Jesus Christ. That is so not my thing. I mean, does nothing for me, but thank you. I understand you mean well, but that's not my thing. I hope the video lifted a huge burden for you. I don't know that it did yet, but I think it was a step in that direction. You have a very large group of friends here. That, I believe, 100%. Oops, I gotta remember, I want to like the comments as I go through them so you know. This person writes that she's very interested in the rest of the story, and I certainly will, talk about other parts of it. I especially, want to talk about how I ended up quitting drinking. I mean, I just couldn't do all that in one video. I bet you feel relieved. In a way I do, in a way I don't. It's just strange. Oh, this person says, I'm glad you were born, and I understand that people think things like that, but I mean, I 100% mean it when I said that I wish I was never born. I do. I don't wish life on anyone. I just don't, and that's just the way I feel. It's just a very realistic feeling for me that I can't imagine that anyone would choose life. I can't. But I know there are people out there who enjoy life. I just happen to not be one of them. Even all the goodness in the world does not at all, for me, make up for the not goodness. I would just be fine and dandy if I could have skipped right past all this. And I really don't think that's depression talking. I really don't. It's just how I feel. This video really hit me. Don't beat yourself up. I don't beat myself up. I want to beat up everyone else. I beat myself up about what role I played in being a mother to my son. That is the part that I can really beat myself up about. But again, I know that I did the best that I possibly could with the person I was at the time. I am certainly a better grandmother than I was a mother, but I'm just very grateful that my son and I do have a close relationship, and we can talk about anything, and I'm very open and honest with him, and he knows how I feel about everything that I've ever done, so I love him dearly. The past is in the past. I kind of disagree with that, because my past is sitting in the other room. The past is not the past because I'm in the same house, I'm in the same life. You know, my situations really haven't changed very much. My mother kept me close, and she still has me. And I didn't do anything to change that. I don't think I was geared to change. I wasn't raised to spread my wings and fly away. And so, no, the past is quite present. And again, I mean, I appreciate all these comments. If I'm, you know, disagreeing with some things that were said, it's not really that I'm disagreeing. I'm just trying to, like, continue the conversation. This person says I'm funny and down to earth. I would, I guess, have to agree that I'm funny, but I really think it's all from stress and anxiety. It's not like I have a funny bone. That it's just how I act. I don't know. Another one, the past is the past. It's not past. It's very present. Tigger, another shout out for Tigger. Everybody loves Tigger. This is like a very long paragraph, so too much analytical scrutiny of oneself is not always the most proactive means of healing. I'm gonna have to look up some of those words. I think I get that, you know, sometimes we just tend to analyze too much, but yeah, I do tend to do that. But again, I have spent my whole life thinking that everything I do, I've probably done it the wrong way. It's like, I don't even know what I'm allowed to have for thoughts anymore. I really don't. So I'm just going with whatever feels good to me, as long as I'm honest and I don't hurt anybody in the process. That's just what I'm going for. I'm just going to start saying I have permission to do anything. And this person says they also asked themselves, did that stuff really happen about things in their past? Well, I have been told all my life that things didn't happen. My mother specifically is either in denial or just flat out doesn't want to admit to things or to accept things, and she's very, very good at, you know, reminding me that I'm crazy and I don't know what I'm talking about, and it's just not the way life was, and that I make things up. I mean, you know, so it's, you know, I question so many things. That's why I try, you know, very hard to remember exact instances, you know. It's because I'm so aware that, is this real? Am I in the Twilight Zone? Because when you have somebody as significant as your own mother always telling you that you don't know what you're talking about, you grow up thinking that you don't know what you're talking about. So far, these comments are nice and not scary. Oh, another one that had a drinking mother. See that? Oh, that makes me tense right away, because it's hard to accept that I was a drinking mother. I mean, certainly my son's life wasn't ideal. His father wasn't in his life. I was a teenager. My son had to grow up with the same mother that I grew up with. I mean, it was his grandmother, but, you know, like I said, the past has been in this house for many, many years. This person talks about the hate for pictures. I know there are some people that feel like that about looking at photos and stuff. See, I know it sounds weird that it says, it breaks my heart. This person says, it breaks my heart that you feel you shouldn't have been born. I don't find that a heartbreaking thing. It's just a realistic way that I feel. If I had not been born, I wouldn't know that I hadn't been born. It wouldn't be like I was like some, spirit in the world saying, oh, why didn't I get born? That's just not the way I feel about it. Without you, your son and granddaughter wouldn't be here. Exactly. I would have liked to have been able to put a stop to everything. That's why I say it would be nice if I wasn't born, and then I wouldn't have had to make any decisions about anything else. And, it's like, I know that there's wonderfulness in all these things, but there's also a lot of just misery and just crappiness and, more mental illness being passed down. And, I know that sounds horrible, but I stand firm that I wish I could not be born. A lot of people sharing a lot of things. I mean, I'm not, like I said, this is all public stuff. If you want to go read the comments, I'm just really looking to see if there are questions that I can answer. Okay, so here's a question. What made you quit drinking? How did you do it? That really will have to be a video in itself, but the short answer is it had to do with my husband a little bit. He was being told by work that he had to quit drinking, and I was like, I can't drink if he has to quit. How can I be helping him? I have to set an example. And I had been wanting to quit for years. I mean, at least 10 years I hated drinking, and at this point I was drinking every single day. And I mean, the only time I wouldn't be drinking is if I was so incredibly hungover and sick that I couldn't physically drink. So I just one day just had a beer in my hand and I went and poured it in the sink, and I didn't drink for 8 months, and I didn't really suffer through it. I just didn't know how to walk through life sober. I mean, I didn't know how to go to a family gathering or to talk on the phone. I mean, I didn't know how to do anything without alcohol. It was just always about the booze. And I got kind of through it by just saying, if I feel like drinking tomorrow, I will drink tomorrow. And so I just one day, at a time, got through it. But it was in April of the year 2000. I knew that I would eventually have a drink, but I wanted to go a long time without. And I actually went, I believe, 8 months. It was at a Christmas party. So April to whenever a Christmas party would have been in December, I had some drinks that night. And then for like 2 years, I kept track of every time I drank something, and I didn't want more than like 1 or 2 marks in any month on the calendar. And even if I had a sip, that counted as a mark. I did that, and I just watched it become less and less. And in that 2-year period, I probably did overdrink like maybe 2 or 3 times to the point of puking. I mean, just overdoing it. But it just got less and less and less. And I mean, to the point where then it was like, maybe once or twice a year, just a couple drinks. I haven't been drunk in a very long time. I'm gonna say more than 10 years. At the most I've ever had is like 1 or 2 drinks in a setting, and that hasn't even been in like a year and a half. I didn't drink anything at all of 2015. We're in 2016. I haven't had anything. I don't think about drinking. I don't care about drinking. But if something were to come up and I would be at a Chinese restaurant with a gang of people, I would probably have some sips off a scorpion bowl. I would probably drink half the scorpion bowl. I don't know. I don't worry at all about ever going back to what I was doing. At all. But I know not everybody can do that. So I'm not suggesting that. I'm just saying that's what's working for me. And I don't do the thing of like, okay, if I had a drink, 6 months ago, that I say I'm 6 months sober. In my world, I got sober 16 years ago in the year 2000, when I went from drinking every day to the point of being drunk to, keeping track a little bit here and there on a calendar. And I know that people, again, disagree with that. A lot of AA disagrees with that. You're supposed to start counting from, the last time you had alcohol. I'm not playing those games. My life turned around 16 years ago. That's what I go by. And I even tell my son, it's like, you know, he counts, and, you know, it's been this many months and this many. And I always say, you know, if something happens and you drink, you can pick yourself right back up and continue. You know you can do it. I want him to know if something happens and life circumstances would cause him to drink, he can say, all right, I see that I have been able to do this. I can do it again. And you don't have to say, like, that one time is such a monumental downfall. It's not. It's like a bump in the road. Just get back on the path and just keep going. And let's not make that one incident be what it's all about. Let's have it be about the 2 years you didn't drink before that. That's my little rant about that. I hope I'm remembering to like all these comments. Wouldn't that be... every now and then I look to see if I even have the recording button on. It's like, it scares me every time. It's like, oh my God, is it red? Yes, it is. Interesting and brave. I don't know. It's just hard to be open and honest. I don't know why it's so popular to be secretive. I don't know. And this is interesting, you know, most of us aren't judging you. You know, I don't worry at all about being judged for what I did, because honestly, I know the way my life transpired was not up to me. You don't make a decision like, I'm going to be an alcoholic and, you know, at age 12, or be drinking champagne at a wedding at age 10. That's not a decision a person makes. I was a child. I was a child who knew nothing adult. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm not worried about being judged for what I did. I'm worried about being judged for talking about it. That is the part that scares me, because it's like, everything is supposed to be secretive. So I don't know if I ever made that clear. I'm not at all ashamed or embarrassed by any of my story or any of my life, because I lived it. And it's like, anybody should have the right to talk about their life. If you took dance lessons and horseback riding lessons, and your family was nice and awesome, and you know, had kind and loving and supportive parents and siblings, and that was your life, wow, that's nice to talk about. But if your life is not those things, I should still be able to talk about it. So I have never been worried about people judging me for what I've done. I am completely paranoid about the actual uttering of the words, because it sounds to me mean, or it sounds like I'm throwing people under the bus, or it sounds like I'm being mad at my family, and I am. That part is true. I am mad. But I think the more that I let it out, the less mad that I will be, because I can get it out there and not have to just keep trying to get it out only to be shut down. You know, it's like the being shut down. I said once before, I think it's the secrets are the most damaging. It's like anytime I want to say something and I'm shut down, it's like, that's awful. So this time I'm just going to say it. And if I want to say it again, I will. And I'll say it again and again. And then I might all of a sudden be like, whew, I don't have to say it anymore. I don't have to keep trying, because I've been able to say it. Okay. Someone thinks Tigger might be my dad, sending me signals through Tigger. And it's funny, because I would have never thought of that. Now, if there would have been a penny upstairs on the floor, that I would have said was my dad. Oh, this person grew up with a narcissistic mother. I bet we would have lots of stories to share. Yeah, I'm sorry you didn't have one teacher to help you in junior high. Now, I did want to mention that I was in junior high in 1972, and no, 1973 and 1974. Right, 72, 73, 73, 74. I just think teachers didn't help in those ways back then. I just don't know. I just don't know. That baffles me. I know somebody saying they have a 10 and a 12-year-old daughter and can't imagine them drinking. Although this person started trying alcohol in middle school, she probably means what we called junior high. And what's funny is that all the years that I drank, you don't try to analyze when you're in the throes of drinking. I mean, that's not what you're into. I didn't start to figure out my life until I stopped drinking. I still find it very hard to think that 13 is too young to drink, because I felt like I had adult problems, that I lived in an adult world. I felt like I had adult burdens put on me, and I just do not, even now, sitting here as a 55-year-old woman, I know a 13-year-old is not supposed to be drinking, but when I look back and I know that 13-year-old that I was, I felt very worthy of being drunk. I feel like there was no choice to do anything else other than drink. I couldn't move out. I couldn't do things. I mean, so it's like I drank, and I don't know. I know that sounds, again, oh my God, I'm never going to want to step out of the house again. I know this stuff sounds probably so awful, but I can't say it to anybody, so I'm going to say it to everybody. I just, even looking back, think that I was not young at 13 or even 12. I just don't look back and see a child. I feel like I did not have a childhood. My very early years were filled with fear and just great fear. And not just about the ghosts that we had in the house, not that kind of fear. Filled with fear, and then by the time I hit 12, I just felt completely grown, and I don't feel any different. So I either felt very old at 12, or I feel very young at 55, so it's one of those things. I have to put some lights on. I'm having a hard time to see. We can't change the past, but we can ground ourselves and search for peace in the moment. And I've been searching for peace in the moment for a long time. And this is yet one more step in me searching for peace. I'm trying something different by just telling the world all the weird ways that I feel and insisting that I wish I wasn't born. I'm gonna stand firm on that one. And I don't apologize for that. I just don't. Again, nice messages. Brave and strong. I feel very, very scared and weak. I just do. Because I feel like it's not strong to speak about it. I feel like it's a weak way of dealing, because I have been brought up that you don't talk about it. And that would be strong, to be able to hold it in. So I feel very, very weak right now. I kind of regret that I did this video. I really do, because it's just, oh, I don't know. I'm afraid I'll never be funny again. I don't feel like I'm funny anyway. I know I'm funny. I come across as funny, but I don't, it's not like I sit down and I have like my comic routine written out. I mean, you know, I just feel like, what happens if I never get back to that? I don't know. We'll just see. This person says, I wish I was never born too. And I get it. I do get it. This person drank early and hard. They can relate. Not alone. I'm sure I'm not alone. I started looking on the iPad, though, last night about, like, being an alcoholic at age 12 or being a child alcoholic. And they use the term child for anybody under 18, and it's like, no, 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 I'm talking about a child, you know? I couldn't find anything about, you know, I know it does not good things for the brain, and one of my psychiatrists had said that when you're drinking alcohol young like that, I mean, the computer wasn't wired right, you know? It hurts a lot of things mentally. And I'm sure depression, anxiety, I mean, this is all rolled into this. Okay, somebody else understands about a narcissistic mother. Oh, I was liking this comment, but then they started talking about God and the Bible. I'm sorry, just not my thing. I know it's many people's things, but it's not my thing. Like I had even said before, I'm not even looking for help. That's not what I'm after at all. I just want to be able to get the words out and not be smacked, you know, for saying so. I've done a lot of work, That's all I can do. I'm just going to try to start trusting myself. I think I'm doing a terrible job. This person wants me to do a draw of my life. Okay, we'll need a knife for that one. And some blood. I have seen some people do draw your life on YouTube. It's like, you know, you have to have a little bit of artistic talent. Mine would be all just swear words. This one, life is hard, you know, wearing a mask. I wear one too. And it is part of it, I'm sure. That, you know, I laugh about things because, gee whiz, gotta find something funny in this world. Well, this person said they prayed, and they're not really religious, but they prayed they could have the courage that I do. Oh, I wish I was courageous. I don't feel it. Like I said, I feel very, very weak, and I feel very guilty, like I'm just being a naughty child who's tattling or something. That's how I feel. But if somebody thinks that I might have sounded courageous, and that might make somebody feel like they could be courageous, I'm all for that. Another person with mother issues, another person about the not wanting to be born. She has depression too, and now talking about the Bible. So we're just gonna mosey on past that one. I do give it a thumbs up though, because I appreciate that somebody is trying to help. This world is not a better place without you. I didn't say it would be a better place without me. So and when I say I wish I was never born, I wasn't saying that I somehow wasn't making this a better place. I'm just saying I just don't want to be in this place. I just don't. But I'm not, you know, in danger of doing anything. I just wish I would not have been put into this place. I'm just being selfish when I say that. That's just what I would have liked for myself. I would have liked nothingness. Somebody loves my cat, who does not belong to me. In case anybody's wondering, Tigger is the neighbor's cat. I say it so much that I feel like everybody knows, but gotta blow my nose. Maybe my allergy pill is starting to make me not as congested. Oh my goodness, I feel better. I can feel like my head is clearing up. Oh, I might have to invest in some Zyrtec. It was free samples that I had gotten, and I love them so much. It's like I hang on to them, and I just let myself suffer because I don't want to take that last pill. You know, many people never make it out of alcoholism. You know, one of the points was that I would like people to know that I know there are some of you out there, I never thought I'd be able to quit drinking. Never. I mean, it was at least 10 years that's all I wanted to do, and every time I woke up hungover, it would be like, oh my God, I'm never doing this again. I'd have my son throw out the booze, throw away my cigarettes. I mean, I'm never doing this again, and then by like 2 o'clock, I'm doing it again, you know, but so I never thought I could do it, and eventually I just did it. I don't know if it's because just I was getting older, the timing was right, or I had just completely worn myself out, or because I kind of wanted to set an example for my husband, who still drinks, which is why we don't live together. But it's possible. You just never know. Just never know. I think sometimes we're just afraid to stop because we don't know how to live without it. So what you could do is maybe if you're in the situation that you would like to try to stop, just try to stop for maybe one night. One night. I used to always say, if I want to drink when I wake up, never drank first thing in the morning. It was always like a little bit after I woke up. But you know, I would say to myself, if I want to drink, I've got the booze, it's there. If I want to drink when I wake up, I have full permission to drink. And of course I would wake up and that wasn't what was on my mind. So, you know, it's just a little game that I played with myself. And I did, you know, tell myself, someday I will have a drink again. So it's like I took away the fear of never being able to have it. I know many people never can have it. Some people, one drink and that is it. And they get like really weird when they drink. I could drink and be very, very intoxicated and, you know, probably go to a business meeting and nobody would know, you know, so it's not, I didn't get weird or lose my mind or, you know, dance on tables and, you know, it's just, I don't know. I'm not saying I was a better kind of drunk. I'm just saying that's the kind of drunk I was. So as long as I never get behind the wheel of a car after having a drink, you know, if I ever were to have another drink, and I'm sure someday I will, from now till I'm dead, I'm sure I will probably have another drink, you know, it's not going to affect anyone. the younger you start, the harder it is, you know, to stop. And I totally understand that. Like I said, I didn't know. I didn't know how to cope with anything. It was just, oh, something's upsetting, or you're filled with anxiety, or your life sucks as a child, so drink this and you'll feel different. I mean, I can still even remember, we had a little cabinet down here where my father kept his booze, and like I said, he wasn't a big drinker, but he, you know, he had some booze, and if people came over, sometimes they'd have a drink or whatever. Oh, my battery is dying. You know, and I would just, sometimes they'd both be in the kitchen or whatever, and I'd just go take a swig of, you know, pure hard stuff, vodka, loved vodka, and rum, and gin, and, you know, anything clear. I was all about the clear stuff. I'm actually going to have to stop, and I'm just going to stop liking, so I'll know where I left off. I have no clue. Oh, we're almost done. Let's just finish. And another thing I remembered is I once went to a retreat for CCD, Catechism for the Catholic Religion. I went to a retreat. Had to be maybe 12. No more than 13. I'm really thinking I was 12. And, of course, I brought booze with me, and got caught with it, and I didn't know that they had called home and told my parents, and it might have been just a one-night retreat, and there was a little store there that we could buy things, and I bought my mother a little religious thing, and I'm sure with money I stole. I certainly didn't have money of my own. I was very good at stealing money from my parents, and and I came home and gave her that, and I wanted so much for her to be happy, and she didn't seem happy, and I've always tried to please my mother. And I don't want you guys to think I'm a thief anymore, that those days are very, very long gone. As like a teenager, but no, I don't steal anymore, so I don't want you to think that. But she ended up telling me that they had called, and her only thing that I remember is that she was so mad that I gave her a gift that she was supposed to be happy about when she knew that what I had done. And she always said, I'm never gonna like this gift. I'm never going to like it because you lied to me. And it was all about how I made her feel. There was not one concern with the fact that I had brought alcohol to a retreat as a child. There was no mention of that part being wrong. It's just that I lied about it, and that I got her something, and I was trying to show that I was this good kid and trying to show her that I loved her by buying her a gift, and she was never going to see it that way. And just another vivid memory that, if you ask my mother, it never happened. But it happened. Oops. Okay, my battery was dying on the camera, and I swapped cameras, but then during that time, I've done all kinds of things. I talked on the phone, I watched TV with my mother. Anyway, it's dark now. It wasn't dark out, I don't think, when I was recording before. So we're going to wrap this up. If there was something I wanted to say and I can't remember. We're almost done the comments. I'm sure there's probably newer comments now, but we'll see. This person says I should do a bathroom tour, because they're curious at what I'm looking at when I dye my hair. I can promise you that is not going to happen, not unless I hire a maid. And this person says, thank you for sharing, please share more. I will be sharing more, because it just kind of feels right for me to be doing it, and also kind of feels wrong. Let me refresh the page here and see if there are any other comments that have come in. This person says, tomorrow is always better. Do people really believe things like that? Again, I don't want anybody to think that I'm not appreciative of comments. I am, but, and I know that many people believe like in positive affirmations and things, and I believe in like the law of attraction, and what you put out there you get back in return. I just don't find a lot of positivity, I guess, in life. Would it be nice to believe tomorrow is always better? Might be nice, but I'm too realistic for things like that. Tomorrow might be horrible. It just might be. Doesn't mean that if I think that way, it's going to make it horrible, or if I think it's going to be better, that it's going to be better. We just don't know. Tomorrow can be horrible. It can be awesome. It can be horrible. So maybe today is better than tomorrow. So that's why at this very moment I'm going to do whatever I feel like doing, because tomorrow might suck. And I really don't think that's depression talking. I just think it's just the way I think about things. I guess I am done. I don't know. Should I be nervous about posting this now? I'm not. I'm just not. I think that, obviously, I can't please everyone. I absolutely know that. And I'm always shocked that I seem to please some. I mean, you know, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get what there is to like about me or to find interesting about me. And again, even the parts where I'm funny, I'm glad I make people laugh or that I uplift them in certain ways, and people will say very nice things like, you know, I was in a bad mood and your video came and, you know, it uplifted me or it made me feel better, and, you know, I'm really, really glad about that. But I'm not, I can't take responsibility for such things. I mean, it's just my anxiety-filled ways that make me say the things I say or act the way I act. So thank goodness for mental illness. At least it makes me be an entertainer in some way. You know, it's true, though, that there were a lot of comedians and even, you know, actors and people that they suffer in great ways over so many things, and that's why they are in the professions they're in, because it's like an outlet, and I kind of get that. I kind of get that now. I understand. I'm starting to anyway. So I'm very grateful to all of you and to YouTube for even giving me a platform. I mean, I just think it's going to be life-changing for me. I think it's very scary at the moment, but I think it's going to be good overall, because I already can tell by talking things out, I'm less mad about my life because I'm finally able to just say the words, and nobody can tell me to be quiet about it. Although I expected you guys to tell me to be quiet. Okay, gotta stop because I'm starting to act weird. No clue what I will be doing for videos coming up, because I just don't know how I feel about things right now. So I'm just going to see. Tomorrow might be better. It might not, but it might. And if it is, then I will probably try to do something uplifting. And if it's a downer day, I'll just go with that, and I'll come out with things to bring y'all down with me. But anyway, that is it for right now. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!